In March 2020, AM Best released our new methodology and criteria scoring and assessing innovation. Shortly thereafter, the COVID-19 pandemic put insurers through a real-life fire drill and turned the world upside down. Insurers accelerated moves to more of a digital capabilities, product innovation, as well as policy language. Some insurers had to recalibrate resources and shift focus to ongoing operations, while others were able to double down on their innovation efforts. Overall, our innovation capability assessments do skew towards lower profiles. Throughout this kind of real-life fire drill for insurers, the inputs that they have been putting in for a number of years still remains to be seen in their actual output results. Our output scores are generally lower than the preliminary results a year ago. But despite obstacles, opportunities have arisen. Insurers that did double down on their innovation efforts and are further along in the process can now leverage these new and existing capabilities to help other insurers and bring in additional revenue streams.
So as we were going through the data, we noticed that the lines of business that face the most competition or structural or technological changes were also the lines of business that happen to have the most innovation. So consistent with this, the most innovative lines of business that we identified were reinsurance, health, and auto lines of business. And we examined main drivers that really have forced these lines of business to become more innovative, with COVID adding additional urgency, which ultimately resulted in acceleration of innovation through 2020. But in addition, we also examined various structural and technological pressures that draw innovation in those lines of business. So for example, in reinsurance, we examined the effect of growing competition, the ongoing third-party capital, insurtech opportunities, as well as various distribution advancements. Now in health, we looked at the way insurers are increasingly leveraging various data resources, but we also looked at the impact of various innovative wellness programs and wearables, as well as innovative approaches to cost management. And then finally, in auto line of business, we looked at the way innovation is really being driven by customer expectations, but as well as new data tools and the way optimization of processes is offering innovative solutions for this particular segment.
From an innovation benchmarking analysis, comparing it to building blocks as well as company characteristics, there is a high correlation between the financial strength rating of organizations and the innovation capability assessment. This correlation implies that innovation was always embedded within our rating process before AM Best formalized it within its own methodology and criteria. Generally speaking, innovation scores go down as you move down the financial strength rating ladder. Companies that fail to embrace innovation could become less competitive, or worse, become irrelevant to the market, completely losing their market standing. More capital and surplus does generally lead to more resources for innovation. That's not to say that smaller companies cannot score well on innovation, as smaller companies can partner with insurtech companies or MGAs, and new entrants don't have legacy issues that more mature and longer standing companies do have, so they can kind of start fresh with a more newer and more focused innovation process and mentality.
So the overall theme in these international reports is the fact that innovation is increasingly critical to insurance companies globally as they continue to pursue long-term competitiveness and profitability. But having said that, we've actually observed many interesting differences in regional approach to innovation. For example, in Asian Pacific markets, we looked at how specific circumstances in each market are shaping innovation initiatives. For example, we examined how geographic and demographic challenges are shaping innovation in Japan, but we also looked at how changing consumer behavior and preferences, as well as the threat of the external threats, is driving innovation in South Korea. And then we looked at how consumer experience is the main focus of innovation. We also discussed top innovation trends in Europe, and we've noticed many similarities between European and US market when it comes to innovation, as European insurers have really prioritized their efforts related to things like digital transformation, customer experience, innovative product offerings, as well as expansion of distribution channels. we also shared our observation on the state of innovation in emerging markets. Now, given the relatively low levels of insurance penetration and the fact that most of the customers in emerging markets are price motivated, we found that a significant amount of innovation efforts in these emerging markets are actually focused on improving insurance distribution and operational efficiencies. And then related to product affordability and connected to this, we examined growth of microinsurance that's being driven by agricultural industry in the emerging markets.